listening to Her Profit Era, the podcast for founders who want a business that actually works. A business that's profitable, predictable, and pays them well. I'm Nishal Kumar, a CPA, a fractional CFO from Abbotsford, BC, Canada. I'm the person founders call when they're tired of high revenue months with no money left over. I started this podcast because too many founders were chasing sales while their margins, cash flow, and bank accounts told a completely different story. I believe profit and money in the bank is the standard, not a bonus, and that every founder deserves clarity around their numbers. Each week, you'll get real financial strategy you can actually use and honest conversations with founders and industry experts about what it really takes to build a business that lasts. Nishal Kumar is the CEO and founder of No Days Wasted, a wellness company that makes science-backed supplements to help you achieve balance and feel your best. No Days Wasted specializes in products that solve problems in recovery, hydration, immune support, and sleep with their optimized blends. Nishal is also a partner at Susie's Rise and Dine, a diner experience that serves classic diner food with an Asian flair located in Little Italy, Toronto. Nishal was also one of the original 8 employees for Tesla in Western Canada in 2014, founded by EV Items, an aftermarket parts company for Tesla vehicles, and worked as a geophysicist in Vancouver. He has a BSc in Geophysics and Commerce and graduated from UBC in 2015. He was also featured on Dragon's Den, Forbes, and the Globe and Mail, so let's get into our conversation. Hi, Nishal. Thanks so much for joining me on Her Profit Era today.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Could you share a little bit about yourself and how you started No Days Wasted?
Yeah, for sure. So No Days Wasted started as a personal science experiment. Product start I created back in 2017, 2018, and basically in the alcohol health space, trying to just feel better after a night out, and sort of debunking some misconceptions around the true problem that lies with alcohol, and it's really around the toxic byproduct, not alcohol itself. More to achieve balance. Alcohol is seen as like a social tool in our society. So
Right.
um, it was more just about feeling your best after connecting with others, celebrating, what have you. And, came up with a great science-backed formulation that had a lot of efficacy to it. And then it's evolved into so much more with our hydration. We have a sleep product in the US. So No Days Wasted is more of a lifestyle, how to feel your best all the time and take advantage of the time that we do have here on planet Earth.
How long did like the testing and like all the trials go? Because I know you've mentioned that like you figured it out while you were traveling, kind of like being curious with things and just testing it out.
Yeah, originally I started testing raw materials on myself, and kind of bringing them in, and then, packing capsules and stuff in my kitchen.
Yeah.
Uh, and then I went on a big trip with a good friend of mine. We had done chemistry and biology together for 7 years. And, we did this trip, took it all on the road with me. And, after coming back from that Euro trip, kind of saw that, it was time to make something. So it took about a year and a half to really, from ideation to really inception of putting it together into an actual product, and then commercializing it originally with a crowdfunding campaign. So we
Oh, wow.
prior to actually producing a full production run, which, you know minimum order quantity in the supplement space, you're probably spending about $40,000, $50,000,
Yeah.
money that I didn't have at the time. We did a crowdfunding campaign and funded it all that way.
Oh, wow. And then how did you find people like interested in the crowdfunding without
Yeah.
having like proof of concept yet?
Well, we made a video and put it up on Indiegogo, and Indiegogo has its own audience, but then also ran some Facebook ads. Additionally, a lot of my network at that point was aware of what I was doing, so it gave them an opportunity to pre-order at a heavy discount and also help us get off the ground. So it was beneficial on all sides, I guess you could say.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And what was it like applying for Dragon's Den? Was that something you always thought you wanted to do or just came up?
Yeah, Dragon's Den was really cool. I mean, I they were in like the Vancouver area around just prior to COVID happening, and I saw the application, so I applied, and then just like 2 days before things got locked down, I ended up doing the audition in person over there in
Oh, wow.
and yeah, it was always something I wanted to potentially do, and we saw the opportunity to jump on audition and make some good TV. And then COVID happened, seemed like it wasn't going to happen. Then they're like, hey, we're very optimistic. We'll get this filmed. So we filmed it in August of 2020, right in the thick of it. And there was a big social distancing in effect, and
Right.
even with the way they had the set back then, we were very far from the dragons, so it was almost like a yeah, it was a quite the experience, but always something I thought would be a great experience. Personally, I grew a lot from it, being able to field six individuals at one given moment, handle their objections, and still come out with some positive sentiment. So definitely recommend it to anyone who's building a business, or if you're even if you're doing anything business related, it's free publicity too, right?
So true. And like, how was it like being there? And like, I know Manjeet made a comment about the taste and like felt
Yeah.
like they were just roasting you. Like, how did you take that and you were like okay with it? Or at least
Um,
you showed that you were.
No, I mean, like, the edits are one thing for sure, but
Yeah.
I mean, you in life you deal with objections all the time, right? Whatever you make, you're not gonna please everyone,
Yeah.
right? So there's an element of like leaning in on the positivity of the conversation, and then making light of some of the challenges, but also having your answers for the objections sort of ready and knowing like what the flaws are in your business. And since then, the electrolyte mix, that was our first iteration of it, actually wasn't even live at that point, which is kind of hilarious. So they got to try something that wasn't even like, it was pre-launch, to be
Oh wow.
honest.
Yeah.
And now, our electrolytes are in stores all across Canada. They're like, we've had five or six iterations since then in terms of the formulation, the flavor profile, everything to do with it. So yeah, you take feedback, you iterate, and you get better, and then you run with it and share it with the world.
So true. And like a lot of people, like if they went through that experience, they would have just like stopped the business, stopped everything completely. But did you take some space like after going through that Dragon's Den experience before you went back into the business, really like tweaked things? Or was it just like you took that as fuel and then just ran with it?
Yeah, I just took it as fuel and ran with it. Honestly, we had so many things going on at the time, and there wasn't really, it was past that first part of that stretch of COVID where things were very dramatic, and there was a lot of doom and gloom.
Right,
Now it was just like, the world had kind of, there was some order, right? But yeah, I think the big thing in this space and in the startup world is speed, right? So if
right.
you don't really you have time, a little bit of time to process, but the idea is take whatever you get and iterate, improve, and push forward. So speed is so critical, because if you're not fixing things quickly, then you're going to be continuing to push out a product that's not good enough, and it's not going to serve you. It's not going to serve your customers, more importantly.
So true. And what's like one money mistake that you wish you would have learned like earlier?
Yeah, I think honestly, I didn't pay myself uh, for the first so many years, and it was a big mistake because it was a bit of a burden on myself. But when you consider a P&L and you consider cash flows for a business, you need to consider all salaries. And I think if you're paying, your whole team, and if you're paying the person who created it, if anything, we were profitable and all that, but I just figured reinvest, reinvest, reinvest.
Right.
Uh, if anything, you're going to find a way to earn more. And it's only going to motivate you to do better. Rather, it's looking at things from an abundant mindset rather than a scarcity mindset, rather than like, preservation of capital. Oh, I need to like hold back on what I make just so we can have more for the business, rather than saying, hey, I need to earn what I'm worth and then make even more, right? So
Right.
there's two schools of thought there, and generally speaking, an abundance mindset wins, I'd say 100% of the time, versus a scarcity mindset. So that's something I would have done sooner for sure. Like
During that,
I was paying all my staff, right?
yeah.
And it was just the only one not in that equation.
Did you have like personal savings built up during that time you weren't paying yourself?
I had another business that was sort of running on the side, because when I initially started, yeah, and then I had some other personal savings and a couple other revenue streams, but truthfully, even so, like to be able to focus 100%, you want uh, you want your attention to be all in one place, and then you want that income coming from your mate, from the place where you're spending the most of your time.
So true. And then what was it like getting like the Walmart deal, Costco, you're in Save On Foods? Like, did everything all just happen at once, or was it just more of you like getting out there, trying to explain your product, and then slowly you were getting those kind of stores on board?
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind we've been at this since 2018, 2019 now, where we've been selling product, starting online and then Amazon, and then retail was more of like the last few years. But it wasn't all at once. Walmart in the States, we actually got, we had been using this like a cold outreach tool to drive interest from buyers in different categories, in mass channels in the US, and the Walmart buyer responded, and uh, she was very interested. We took the meeting, and then she's like, all right, I'll bring you on. And I was kind of, you know, shocked almost. But yeah, it was a cool, like almost AI before AI made it mainstream, helped us land that account.
Wow.
Um, and then once we officially launched in Canada, because we are a Canadian company, but we launched in the US originally and weren't selling in Canada until 2023. But once we launched in Canada, we kind of came out with a splash, started going to all the trade shows, chatting with all the buyers, saying, hey, look, we are, you know, we're Canadian, we're here, we've done a lot of marketing in the States, spilled over into Canada. The Canadian consumer is ready. We have a lot of Canadian customers as it is, but we've been shipping from the States. Now it's time to, go big, and then they bought in, which was really awesome.
That's
But
so
it's all
cool.
happened. No, nothing's happened at once. It's kind of one of those things where it's like, so far it's like eight years overnight success story, I guess you can say, and we still haven't even conquered, um, you know, 20% of what we want to do. So there's a lot more to this.
And what made you like get into the States first? Because you a lot of times you hear like get good at like where you are and then start market like in the US or like other countries.
Yeah, the US was the model from the beginning because of the consumer sentiment and being able to iterate and test quickly. Also, speed to market was a big thing. There was less regulation there. We had an NPN product, so it took 4 years to get actual Health Canada approval on this, so authorization to sell in Canada.
Wow.
So it was more in the US, it was more of an open market. You could just go for it. So and we had some marketing channels to leverage early on. We were early with podcast advertising and worked with some of the bigger shows and had a great little lever to pull on there. But yeah, and then also Canadians consume American media and advertisements really. So
Right.
it was just a matter of like, it's called the Mark Anthony model: build your brand in the U.S. and then bring it back to Canada once you have enough spillover and saturation, and then the Canadian advertising sort of, that spillover marketing really just lends itself to success on the ground in Canada when you do launch.
Wow. And did you hire like a team like right away as soon as you started, or like over time you built that over 8 years?
Yeah, no, I didn't really have the resources for a team, so it's just me working around the clock, and then I brought on a friend to start working, and they started with customer service and went into social media a little bit, then started
Right.
doing a little bit more like marketing and email, SMS, and all that wherever they could help. Um, But yeah, I mean, for the most part, it was just like really scrappy, roll up your sleeves and kind of figure out a way to get it done. No, and then see how you could trade, product for service in different places and get very creative, because you had to get, you had to achieve a lot with not a lot of resources.
So true. And then did you have like an accountant, bookkeeper, like that kind of support early on?
I did all of that myself.
Oh, wow.
Truth. Yeah, I mean, I have a little bit of background on the finance accounting side too. So like, I understand the unit economics, understand the records we need to keep, but it was a lot. Now, gratefully, we have personnel that helps with all those things. But yeah, yeah, it was kind of crazy for the first so many years.
Wow, that's impressive where you're like doing everything in the business plus like the back end work. It must have been a lot.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, though. You have to be able to wear all hats, especially at the beginning. Well, if you're a bootstrap business, if you raise capital and you have a team or co-founders out of the gate, you can share the workload to some extent, right? But when you're like, all right, this is my hope and dream, you got to put the team on your back and figure it out, and then bring in the right people as you go.
Did you have like a lot of support when it came to like mentors and like community at the
That was
beginning?
that was the big thing for sure, was the mentors. Like I sought out a lot of mentorship, and I would try and pick someone's brain for 15 minutes for a coffee here, or get on a call with them, or whatever I needed to do
Yeah.
to sort of get some guidance or support. I think that's, if you look at all business and life in general, generally speaking, most people, unless, I mean, the process has been done before to some extent. So like, people have made the mistakes you're about to make. So if you can go out there and find those individuals and learn from them before you make the same mistakes, then you save a lot of time and a lot of heartache. Yeah, you basically make strides a lot quicker.
What advice would you give someone that's like looking for like support, like mentors and community? Like, where does a person even start? Because it's such a lonely journey too at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it's, with the access to information these days, there's a lot of like groups and clubs and stuff online where there's, call it different founder level clubs or groups. Even a quick Google search would put you in the right, push you in the right direction. But generally speaking, in most cities, there's like, yeah, I mean, I would say just like find someone that you admire or that's done something similar to what you want to do. Reach out to them on LinkedIn and then hit them up and pick their brain, make some time. And then from there, you figure out like, okay, who do they hang out with? Who do they spend time with? What communities are they part of? What resources do they potentially have that they could share? Um, and most people who are building something are very open to sharing, because they wouldn't have gotten there in the first place if someone didn't share with them.
So true. Yeah, even for myself, like I just reached out to you by email just to learn
Yeah.
more about your story.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. No, it's all, it's like, if you don't ask, you don't get, right?
Right.
So a lot of people are afraid of that initial like outreach, or self-conscious about that, but like, don't be, you just got to go for it. You got to ask. If where someone says no, and you're in the same situation that you would have been in anyways, right?
So true. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit about like your products that No Days Wasted has and like how would you like use them?
Yeah, for sure. So our original product that we launched with is, well, in Canada it's called DHM Blend. It's a, very, the key active ingredient is something called dihydromycin. It's been used in Asia for centuries, packed with also L-cysteine, milk thistle, prickly pear, and this is a recovery product more or less. And take it on a night out while celebrating. We kind of coined it as a better way to celebrate. And then we have an electrolyte drink mix. So, a couple different versions, more of an active hydration blend that's sugar free. So, a complete electrolyte profile. And that's something that's been really awesome. And then also we have a daily mix. So, just pour it in your big bottle of water. It comes in like little stick packets here,
Oh,
pour it in
wow.
your water, and you're good to go. So, and then additionally in the States, we have a product called Sleep Assist. So it's a, two capsules, magnesium based, no melatonin, some L-theanine and apigenin as well. And you take those, about an hour before sleep. It helps you have a deeper, more restful into sleep. So we're kind of there for like the social component, for the hydration, daily hydration, active hydration around physical activity, and then also just making sure you're getting a good night's rest too.
Wow, that's so cool. And then like someone like myself, like I stopped drinking because the migraines and the hangovers would be like too much and just not worth it. So
Yeah.
like do your products work on like anybody and everybody or a specific type of like drinker?
Yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, it's for people who I think a more important way to frame it is we're people first, not drinkers first, right?
Okay,
So,
yeah.
you we might be celebrating with friends for a birthday, or it might be a work social thing, or there may be a dinner food pairing with wine or something of the sort. you know these are experiences that sort of guide us and shape us and help us feel complete with a life well lived. You can choose to drink, you can choose not to, but what we find really is that we've helped educate a lot of people around the negative effects of drinking, and why that toxic byproduct is a problem, and anywhere from like helping people reduce their consumption to some people who've even stopped drinking. So if anything, it's a tool for awareness and education, but also at the same time, if you do choose to be in that situation where you're socializing, you're having a drink or two, then you have a little bit of extra insurance, and yeah, and you're covered from the recovery side of things.
That's so cool. And then do you just take it like before you start drinking or like
Yeah,
after your drinks?
two capsules. So for DHM detox, it's two capsules during your night, so anytime during consumption.
And then do you have to drink the hydration like after? Or the
Hydration.
hydration's anytime?
Yeah, hydration's an anytime thing. Like it's taken on its own for daily hydration. So that'd be like, the next morning. There's a big misconception. People think alcohol, the biggest issue with alcohol recovery is dehydration, but it's
Yeah,
not. That is a small part of the equation. So, the hydration's catered to overall wellness rather than being like alcohol
drinking.
health related product. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
How did you come up with the name?
Honestly, it just tied in nicely. Like when we first launched, it was originally just a single product SKU and there was no brand. It was just very sciencey. And, for those that we were able to communicate with, it made sense, but had to come up with something that was a good play on words and like fit with our mantra, of really living life and experiencing all of life's moments. So No Days Wasted just kind of came naturally. I don't know. It was like just riffing with some friends and some people that were working with me at the time, and that's the sort of tagline, and then it turned into the brand name.
It's definitely catching and it makes so much sense for what your products are all about.
100%, 100%. No, I appreciate it.
Could you share like a moment that you felt was like really hard in your business?
Yeah. Where do I start? You want something recent or something early on, or what do you think?
It's totally up to you. We could do something recent.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting thing as you grow a little bit, you bring on more people, and then when you start out of the gate, it's more like this project, right? And
Right.
you're bootstrapping, you're scrappy, you're just trying to get it all done, and there's not many people to manage. It's more so just pushing ahead. And then as you get a little bigger, there's just more people to manage. So you just want to make sure that the people that you have in your environment are are the right fit, right? And
Right.
there's a lot of challenges with running your own business, but one of the luxuries that you have that people can often forget is that you control who's in the room. It's your business. You can decide who works for you or works for the business and is part of the team. If they don't fit the mold, or if they're not contributing the right way, then you should probably find the people that do, the people that want to be there, the people that have the skills you need, the people that fit the culture and all those things.
Right.
So I think for me, it's just more of a general lesson. It's like, hey, why don't we just bring in awesome people that care and love what they do and are passionate and want to be here? And that's since we've taken on that approach. Hiring has been so amazing. The team has been stronger than ever, and then there's a lot of excitement and a lot to look forward to.
Do you do like the hiring process yourself, or do you have someone hired to go through that?
No, no, I go through it all myself. So, we are a small team of only 8 people. So it's everyone kind of owns their own domain. So that's part of my domain is just making sure that that ninth person fits with the 8 that we have and that they're aligned and a good culture fit.
Wow. And then where is like your warehouse and like distribution kind of located?
Yeah, so we have warehouses in east west of Canada, east west of the US. Same with our manufacturing. So we our supply chain is kind of fully built out across North America. Our product doesn't really cross any borders, so the tariffs and stuff like that weren't as big of a concern for us. And it was a result of us starting in the US and then eventually opening up in Canada too.
What are your thoughts on like profitability and cash flow? Is that really important for you since day one?
Yeah, that's everything, to be honest. If you're not making money, then what are you doing, right? I think that the
Right,
number one objective of a business is to exchange either products or service for some proceeds and you do it in a profitable manner. So I think the biggest thing is you can't be a founder or you can't start a business or run a business without understanding your unit economics. And then from there, you need to take it a step further and understand your full P&L. All right. And see
right.
like where do you sit? And then understanding once you start getting into retail and things that don't pay right away, what's your cash flow look like? Are you going to be able to meet payroll? Sure, you got a big order from that big retailer, but they don't pay for 45, 60, 90 days.
Right.
So you have to pay your suppliers, you have to pay your manufacturers. It's just like it's a fun balancing act. And most people don't, even from the little brand that you see that's a locally made, I don't know, kind of craft or niche product that's sold at the local natural grocery store to the biggest thing on shelves at Walmart, they all have the same considerations to make with the business that, cash flow is everything. Profitability is very important because, you know, um, in our world, cash flow is profitability is number one, and cash flow. I mean, it's a 1A, 1B situation, really. Uh,
Right.
so you want to make sure that the money comes in at the right time and that it's the amount that will cover your costs and then some.
Yeah, I definitely feel like cash flow timing is really key.
Definitely. And look, everything in this world is negotiable. So you can generally work with partners or find a way to work with individuals that meet your timelines so you can achieve your business goals. But you also have to see if that model is scalable, right? Like for sometimes you can bridge smaller amounts when you're not at scale, but then when you do achieve scale, you're like these amounts get larger and larger, and then the risk is a lot higher. So you do have to make sure the cash comes in before it goes out.
Yeah, it's so important. But there's also so much avoidance around it too. Like as a fractional CFO and like a CPA, the founders I work with, like they don't want to have those like monthly meetings or like go over the numbers or like there's so much avoidance around like finances and taxes.
Yeah, that's fascinating. I think that's you know, how about this? I mean, there's this new, not new, but there's this uh approach in general where generally speaking, the things that you're avoiding that have a positive outcome, or the things that are the hardest that have a positive outcome. So understanding your numbers,
Yeah.
for a lot of people, call it resolution wise, going to the gym and being consistent and doing all those things, or locking in on your diet or whatever your goals are. Right, the hard
Right.
you should always do them first. You should do them early and often, and they only get easier. But you're also building a part of your brain called the anterior mid cingulate cortex, which really is a part that has a, the more well developed it is, the more likely you're going to have a long lifespan and a life well lived. So people that live longer have a more developed anterior mid cingulate cortex. So the idea is, you know, oftentimes the things you avoid are the things you should be doing.
So
So
true.
why not, once you realize that and you realize it's good for you, um, you should, and you have those thoughts, oh, I don't want to do this. That's exactly your trigger to do it.
That's so true. Yeah, and I feel like there's like once you start doing it, it becomes so much easier just to stay in that habit.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, right? Then exactly, it's habit forming, right? So you get in the swing of things, and then, you know, there's no thinking even at that point.
Yeah, so true. What has kept you disciplined for like the last 8 years? A lot of people are like starting businesses because they have that mentality of get rich quick. But when you don't see the results right away, like you still have to keep putting in the work. So what keeps you going?
Yeah, I mean, most businesses are not get rich quick schemes. Maybe there was a small window like from 2010 to like 2015, 16, where e-commerce really blew up, and it's like you could make a lot of money really quickly.
Yeah,
Um, and then if kind of 2015 to 2020 was still good for certain marketing channels, but the truth is, like, if you're in anything to get rich quick, you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. You should solve problems that are close to you, and things that you would wake up uh, doing feeling like it's not really work, and that's a big focus. So I mean, yeah, I think the get rich quick thing doesn't really exist. I've seen people try and jump into the space, whether it be like supplements or direct copycat products or
right,
whatever, and they're in it for that reason because they had a perception that we're just making money hand over fist, which, like, the business is doing well, but we're not. But you have to reinvest. You have a lot of expenses. You got to pay employees. You got commitments, right? Like, think about it. You
right.
have eight people. You got to make sure that they have money so they can pay their bills every 2 weeks, right? So it's just like, yeah, there's perception versus reality, I think, is what it is, right?
So true. My next question was going to be about like people trying to copy your idea. I know there's a lot of like health supplements in this space. So how do you keep yourself and like your business like more unique?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing for us is like the product always has to be exceptional for us to put it out. That's why we have so few SKUs. We're like very focused on what we do sell, but it's brand, really, longevity. It's the storytelling with it. It's relating to a customer and building an audience, and your community at the end of the day. So copycats, pop up all the time. A lot of them you never even hear about.
Yeah.
Some make it big enough to for you to hear about them, which is great. I Truthfully, I'm a big fan of competition. I think competition brings more awareness to the market as long as the competitors are good. So they operate, around the compliance bit. They represent the category the right way and well, and you know truthfully, they'll be spending money on marketing, and it's just going to bring more awareness to the problems that you're solving. So it's a rising tide raises all ships kind of mentality.
That makes sense. And what's like next for No Days Wasted, like 3 to 5 years from now?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for us, like this year, I can tell you we have a lot of great retail partnerships we're trying to go deeper in. That just means selling more, getting more products on shelf, um, doing more activations and community engagement, to drive people to stores, etc. But also we want to be in some more of the bigger retailers, grow the team, grow our online presence. So it's just a little bit more of everything, but going bigger into retail, I'd say, is a big focus for us right now.
And how about yourself? Like, do you envision yourself like selling the business, starting up something new? What is like your role in the business and what you want?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that's a great question. I think, you know, the way I've been sort of conditioned is to build something that you could, in theory, run forever. So it's profitable, it's growing. There's levels of excitement that, you get from it, and it doesn't feel like work. So that's my main focus. I have a couple other side projects and things that I'm involved in, which I'm really excited about. I have a restaurant in Toronto called Susie's Rise and Dine. It's a nostalgic diner with an Asian flair.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
my main partners that are operating on the ground there are exceptional individuals and all just crushing it. But we're 9 months into that, and it's been a wonderful journey, and seeing a lot of early success there, which is fun. And then yeah, I mean, but no days wasted is my main focus, and you never know
Yeah.
what could happen, right? If you build something that's great and it reaches a certain scale, and it's profitable, then it's attractive enough for someone else to want to jump in and buy it, then you explore all options. But again, I think it goes back to like the get rich quick
Yeah,
and that side of things. It's like you got to be in things for the right reason. So if you're just building something to sell, chances are it may not happen.
that's so true. And where can our audience find your products? Like, should they visit like specific stores or your website?
Yeah, I mean, look, we try our best to be available everywhere. So like nodayswasted.com or .ca, depending on Canada or the US. Amazon is a great option too. But then there's retail stores. So like we're in Safeway, Sobeys across the country. We're in Whole Foods Canada. We're in Walmart as well. So any of those stores are generally really awesome. Save on Foods even, which is a great one. So yeah, wherever you shop, we're trying our best to be there. Generally, you can, a store locator on our website will show you the closest place to buy it. But then there's also great online channels too that get you the product kind of within a day or two. So
And what is the best way for our audience to like connect with you directly?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, you can find me on LinkedIn. It's just my full name, Nishal Kumar, or Instagram. Initial official, and yeah, you can generally get a hold of me that way. So
Thank you so much. I'll share all your details in the show notes.
thank you, Cindy. I appreciate you having me on. I appreciate your questions and all the hard work that you do.
If you're a founder who wants real strategy, not noise, and you want someone in your corner helping you build a business that feels aligned, is profitable, and actually supports your life, you can apply for CFO on Call. This is my one-on-one financial partnership for established founders, typically making between $500K to $2 million, who want clarity, who want structure and confidence with their numbers. The link is in the show notes so you can schedule a profit strategy call, or you can DM me CFO on Instagram at It's Cindy Kumar, and I'll send over all the details.